chess, not checkers, but I like to say it's Tetris, not chess.
How did you find your therapist? Because I need help finding
So it may or may not have been court ordered. That's neither here nor there. It snowballs after that because now you have what's called metrics and analytics. Good deal, because God's a businessman at the end of the day.
I want to know if there's an issue with the way that I'm thinking about certain things.
I'm doing for others. It's now time to do for myself.
Wasn't at first.
You should never put me on speakerphone.
Over here, what's happening?
Come on, dragon fruit.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? Gotta have my baby, you know what I'm saying? Starbucks treat me well.
Wow, I did not peg you to be a Starbucks guy.
I wasn't at first, and then I met this woman, and she introduced me to it. You know how that shit.
And so now your order is like as long as a CVS receipt.
She did this to me. This was not solely on myself. This was someone else. All right, let's do it. Welcome to In My Bag with Backpack Jeff, where we connect with ordinary people doing extraordinary things. And today I got an extremely special guest with me here, the multi-talented, award-winning poet, photographer, author, Sir Harvey Fitz. I can't wait for y'all to get to know him through this episode. What's going on, brother? How you doing?
I am so incredibly happy.
Okay.
And
tell us why. I'm interested as to know why.
Well, for one, God is good.
Amen.
I'm here.
Come on now.
I'm here on your show.
This is a big deal.
This is a huge deal. Like this is going to be the highest rated episode thus far. This is going to be the one to beat.
Okay.
But I'm here mentally.
Ooh, I like that.
I'm here physically and I'm here spiritually.
Okay.
Wasn't always. But thankfully, some people like to say it's chess, not checkers. But I like to say it's Tetris, not chess.
Okay, what's the difference?
The difference is with chess, you got to make the right moves and worry about other people on your board. With Tetris, you just got to make sure you're falling in the right place.
Bars.
I'm just saying.
Appreciate y'all so much.
It's for real. And
y'all know y'all can like, comment, subscribe, follow. Until next time.
No, for real though. And it's like, thank God for therapy.
Okay.
That has helped. It's also helped strengthen my relationship.
Let me ask you this real quick. How did you find your therapist? Because I need help finding mine.
So it may or may not have been court ordered. That's neither here nor there. Okay. No, I'm joking.
The therapist itself, maybe therapy was court ordered.
Yeah.
Therapist.
There is an amazing website called therapyforblackgirls.org.
Okay.
And it's strategically named that because statistically, black women are more so the ones to actively seek therapy than black men are.
Okay.
And so they titled it that, but it's for men, women, binary, non-binary, and it's an entire database,
okay,
regionally, statewide, full of therapists of color, black and brown, and you can just go through and
see that. I know that site, but the title was very misleading.
Very.
I definitely thought the therapist on here would only take
no
black women, black girls.
No. And it was actually suggested. Right. It was suggested to me by a black woman, and she prefaced that. She was like, "I know it's called Therapy for Black Girls, but it's not just for. It's just because black women are more prone to seek therapists than black men are."
I feel like the title should be Therapy for Black Girls, not just for black girls.
Right. I agree. Make
or like a subtitle.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Not just for black girls. Like
therapy for the blacks. I don't know. But
okay.
Yeah, so I went up there and
how long have you been in therapy?
I've been in therapy now for 7 going on 8 years.
Okay.
And it's amazing.
What makes you stay and what makes you continue? Because and was that a part of why you're here? you said
Yes.
that you're present.
Yes.
Parents played a role in that.
Yes, I was a person who was very good at escaping my own reality, have been since childhood, and very good at wearing masks of okay. Everything is okay. From childhood, I was never really given the proper tools to emotionally cope with things.
Okay.
Disappointments, setbacks in life. And it was conditioned to just internalize because you still got a job that you have to work, or you still have responsibilities that you have to take care of.
The world doesn't care about your problems.
The world doesn't care about your problems. So man up, and pound the pavement and that for me only worked but for so long until my system started to react negatively, like lashing out, emotional imbalances and things of that nature. And it got to a point where it was like, okay, maybe you should talk to somebody, because there's only so many prayer lines in church you can hop in.
Right. So when you went to therapists, did you find it difficult to open up to your therapist in the beginning?
Absolutely. My first therapist, God bless her.
So you've had more than one therapist?
Yes.
Okay.
I've had 3 in the past 7 years.
Okay.
Technically 4, but this very first one, she didn't last one session. God bless her. And I told her, much respect to you.
Okay.
And, your degrees and your thousands of hours. But for me, there is no way you, as a middle-aged, privileged white woman, you can't help me.
Right.
You can't. And maybe she could have, but that pre-therapy Harvey just was not receptive at all.
Okay.
And she, respectfully, understood and gave me a referral to someone else. And that also wasn't the best fit. And then I started becoming more open about, seeking, therapy. And I was given this website, and I found the best therapist in the whole wide world. Okay. She's amazing, man. She's amazing.
Well, shout out to the therapist. Thank you for helping.
Yes, because
how often do you go? You go weekly?
When I first started, it was twice a week. Yeah, it was very much so needed. Okay. Yeah, no, there is people that are like alive today because I'm in therapy. No bull.
Jesus saves another life.
Listen, no, for real. It was twice, and thankfully, in doing the work, that cut back to weekly. Now, it's definitely monthly, sometimes twice a month. Okay. And it's more so a series of, checking in. Where are you mentally? How did these past couple of weeks affect you based upon what we talked about and the homework and exercise that you've been given? And yeah. Okay. Yeah, but that twice a week that was wild.
Going in there deep, right?
That was wild.
Did you discover some things that happened in the past that you didn't even know was affecting you?
Absolutely.
Today?
Absolutely. We absolutely covered. So that falls under the realm of epigenetics.
Okay.
That's the term that they use for it, and it's basically why you are the way you are, genetically as well as condition wise, from possible chemical imbalances. Maybe your mama and daddy shouldn't have got together and had you, from a clinical standpoint, and also, like I said, conditioning, what their experiences were and how they raised you based upon what they knew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I definitely know that I have some. I have my dad's money habits, which are terrible, and so I learned that, and I saw that, and I recognized that, and I'm excited to start therapy. Maybe I'll go on there because I've been trying to find a therapist. There's a therapist actually like next door, and I'm like, man, I should probably just use him, see if he takes it, because we don't have a relationship, but it'd be very convenient for me to let me just go into my office real quick, and then let me go next door and see my therapist.
No, for real.
That would be great. So you found a woman. I'm juggling between, I don't know if I want to have a man or if I want to have a woman, because I'm like, if I go see a male therapist, is he going to have the same ideals that I have? Because, we're both guys. Should I go to a woman? Then I'm like, is she going to be too soft on me because she's a woman?
I can assure you the woman that I go to is not.
Okay.
Like, those first 3 sessions, I would say, were very surface level. And that was because I was so guarded.
Okay.
And she very poignantly asked, just out of curiosity, how many of these sessions do you plan on having with me in the future where we just sit here at surface level? Because at the end of the day, you're dying.
So she knew.
Yeah, she knew.
Okay.
Read me like a kindergarten coloring book the moment I walked through the door, and it was just like, ooh, wow. And so for me, it had to be a black woman. Because of the level of comfort that I have with black women. You know, I was raised, protect your mama, protect your cousins, protect your, you know what I'm saying? Like, black women are sacred. And so for me, it works better with a black woman. But I absolutely suggest try them out. Yeah. For all it might be, an old 80-year-old Asian man. You never know. you just never know. It's who you connect with.
I definitely agree with you. Like, I want someone that I can relate to, and I want to see how I can relate to them. And the reason why I feel therapy is necessary for me is because I want to make sure that I want to know if there's an issue with the way that I'm thinking about certain things. And if you only have yourself to bounce those certain ideas off of, you don't have a very large sample size, or you don't have a constructive,
sample. Very biased.
Yeah,
very biased.
So I want to know if the way that I'm thinking is it okay? Is it natural? What's the underlying, in here? And I've got reasons for everything, and are these reasons valid? And so I want to go to therapy to learn that. How has poetry played into this part of it? Is because a lot of people will say, poetry is therapy for me. I think for me, poetry has become a form of therapy. It's allowed me to speak and say things in public that I would have never been able to articulate otherwise. And it's helped me to learn how to articulate certain things. How has poetry played?
Actually, for me, poetry, contrary to popular belief, 95% of my poetry is non-autobiographical. It's cathartic to be able to get on stage and connect with people via, my words. But ultimately, I'm an empath. And so a lot of my poems, like I believe it was Dolly Parton who said when asked, what her favorite song was, they're like my kids, depending on the day, this one's my favorite, depending on the day. So for me, my poems are the core of who I am as a communicator and a listener.
Okay.
And they are birthed out of interactions with people, most times strangers. I don't know, because I'll go to a city and intentionally get lost just so I can talk to a stranger.
Right.
And because that's just how it works for me. And I will be able to take sometimes 2 or 3 different people's experiences and fuse them together and come up with a piece.
Yeah.
That's that. Yeah.
I like that. That's a philosophy and a motto that I use as well. Like my poem, "Inspiring Woman," is just a compilation of multiple different stories that I've gathered from women who inspired me, and put it together to make it sound like it's this one woman that I know, but it's just a bunch of different stories. So you write a lot of haikus. what's your writing process? Because it's not like regular haikus. It's regular haikus, but
right.
it's like yo, what?
Yeah. So for those listening who don't know, a haiku is a Japanese short poem. It's so short that it's only 3 lines long and 17 syllables total. A traditional haiku will be about, birds and flowers, flora and fauna and stuff like that. And it follows the formula of the first line is 5 syllables, second line is 7 syllables, and the third line is 5 syllables. Now, the haiku that I tend to delve into are technically called Shinryu.
Shinryu.
Mm-hmm. Senryu. And those are more so topically free.
Okay.
Not bound to the nature, and taps into emotion and interaction, which goes back to me, loving interacting with people.
Yeah.
And I consider them my pre-Twitter era tweets. Because it's like, they're short, simple, sometimes complex. If you really
40 characters here it is, boom, boom,
boom, boom, boom. There you go. And it also helped me mathematically, because I have a form of dyslexia called dyscalculia. And basically, I don't know if y'all... Once upon a time, kids, there used to be the show called Ghost Rider. I don't remember if you remember Ghost Rider, where at any rate... It was like this entity with these high school kids. Nobody knew where it came from, but like it would make words literally lift off pages and form like sentences and stuff, and it would be clues for them to solve crimes. Yeah. That's what numbers would do for me. Okay. Like I would be sitting there like in a full-on panic attack during like the multiplication timetable things.
Yeah.
Zeros, ones, twos. That's it. That's all I got for you.
The rest of it is in the air.
The rest of it is literally in the air, floating around, and that stuck with me, all the way up into adulthood until I went and got it, looked at and checked out. Thank God for Obamacare, and it was suggested.
Easy ain't do nothing for the people.
Tell me, that black man they helped this black man, but it was strongly suggested that I get into haiku to help maintain the structure with staying within a format of numeration and counting the syllables and things of that nature. For the most part, it worked. I wish I had it in like earlier childhood,
right? Because
I wouldn't have had to rely on the art so strong to get me through. Because the performances I had to put on to get out of failing math.
Right.
Yeah, no, it was really real.
No, I definitely understand. I like it. So let me ask you, how long have you been writing?
God, I've been writing since I was about 7 or 8 years old.
7 or 8 years old.
I wrote my first book at 8 years old.
Okay. So there's an extensive period of writing. Not recently. You wrote a book to haiku it may concern.
Yeah.
Tell me about that process, because a lot of I desire to write a book, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you have help writing the book? What made you say I want to write a book? And then what was the process? Because writing a book is an easy process, but it's not an easy process. Right? The little steps, right? So if someone wants to write a book, if someone wants to write a book of poetry, what are some steps that you think they could and should take in order to make that happen successfully?
So to start off, I did not want to write a book. I didn't. Okay. Did not want to write a book. Did not want the book to be a success. Did not want that book to put me further into spotlights and things of that nature, because organically I am very introvertive. Very, very, very much so prideful on keeping to myself, minding my business, staying out the way. However, this all was part of my agreement with God, because I grew up in a very religious family on my mom's side, like very much so Color Purple church type situation. And I have literally lost count the number of times that a preacher or a quote unquote prophet would like come to the church for an event or whatever. Don't know these people from Adam or Eve or a can of paint. Would single me out and be like, yo, you're going to be this great prophet to the nations. You're going to take God to the four corners of the earth, like spectacles. There's a local mega church pastor in this area to this day, like made me take my shoes off, put oil in my shoes, put oil all in my hands, open my mouth, blew in my mouth. It was like a whole thing. Like 9 years old. Come on. And so with that being said, I saw a lot, but then I also saw too much that it at a certain point in time turned me off of dogmatic religiosity and things of that nature. But at the end of the day, I still maintained my spiritual relationship with God. And it was like, okay, if I'm going to do all of these things, let's make a deal. Because, you know, God's a businessman at the end of the day. Very, very, very much Abraham. Wait a minute, come back. Let me rewrite this contract.
Similar experience.
And I was like, okay, so if I'm going to do these things, you know, on your behalf or in your name, can it not be from a pulpit wearing a collar? Because I hate dressing up, and I don't like pomp and circumstance and smoke and mirrors and wearing those, all of that regalia. I just, can it be through the arts? Because I love the arts, always have. And God was like, all right, bet. And so then for a period of 7 years, haiku just started coming to me.
Okay.
Randomly. Like to the point where I would, I cut my phone off when I go to bed at night. So for any of you who are like, oh, text, yeah, no, my phone is off and charging. But I kept my journal beside my bed. Sometimes I would wake up 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, and maybe a half a haiku would come. I would write it down, go back to sleep. The next day, the rest of it will come to me. Yeah. Or I'll be in conversation with somebody, and I'm like, wait, what did you just say? Wait a minute. One more word, and that's a haiku. You know what I'm saying? It's like stuff like that. And somewhere around year 4 of intentionally structuring, you know, the book, it kind of was done, but I was in my own way. I allowed the fear and the doubt and do people really care what you have to say? And I operated off of that. And the book never came out.
Okay.
And I had gotten an adult job working at an art center, actually. I was the events coordinator, and I used that as an excuse. Well, I got to work this event essentially, I was a glorified babysitter. And right. I was using that as, you know, oh, I got to focus on this. And then, boom, the zombie apocalypse happens. And can't nobody go to work. Right. We're all at home. And so it was a harsh reality that I had to face in terms of being diligent about my destiny. Because it's not just about me. It's about somebody, whether it's 1 or 1,000, that one person that needs to read this book.
Okay.
So I pulled myself together and actually started, again, Tetris, not chess, making sure each one was in its right place or what needed to be omitted, what I should put in. And when it was finally like done, the first person I reached out to was Kaniki Jakarta, who was the first Black poet laureate of Alexandria, Virginia. And it just so happened that I was already in Virginia. I was at the mall. I was at Pentagon City Mall. And I decided I'm going to go tell her, because she hosts open mic at Bus Boys on that Monday that I was in the mall. So I pulled up the phone to go through the information and stuff to figure out, you know, what time was it. Lo and behold, she was actually featuring over in D.C. at Woolly Mammoth. So I was like, oh, bet. Because I hadn't been yet, and I wanted to go and check them out.
Over at Spit That,
yeah. You know? And so I went, and I'm all excited. I'm like, hey, guess what? Finished the book. I'm ready to put my book out, because Kaniki had been one of the main people in my corner for years. Bruh, there are several books in you. What's going on? Like, pushing. And when I told her I was finally ready, she simply smiled, reached down into her purse and pulled out her business card and said, I've been waiting on you. Take my card. Email your manuscript to my assistant. I am going to publish your book.
Wow.
And she did, through her publishing company called Great Publishing.
Wow.
Yup.
Wow.
Yep.
Shout out to Kaniki.
Shout out to Kaniki.
Shout out to Kaniki. Listen, for anybody that's out there that wants to publish a book, not just for poets, okay?
No, not just for poets at all.
For anyone that's out there who wants to publish a book, she's a great resource. I definitely recommend that you reach out to her. Definitely extremely professional, super well known, and super well versed in what it is that she does. So I implore you all to definitely reach out to her, because I think that would be a great resource. Okay, so you get into poetry, you get into haikus, you wrote this book. Now you host events. You currently host. Where do you host that right now? Or what are you hosting right now?
So yes, actually tomorrow. As a matter of fact, I have fortunately been blessed to become the newest open mic host for Busboys and Poets.
Hey, congratulations.
Thank you.
Welcome to the team.
Thank you. So it's every third Monday at the Busboys and Poets Anacostia.
Okay.
Yeah, so for those of you who, ain't afraid of the hood, come on cross the bridge and holler at us.
I love Busboys and Poets Anacostia. I love the setup. I love it down there. It's a really nice location. So you host there. Are you doing anything independently still? Because I know you'll get a flyer with Sir Harvey Fitz on it saying he's hosting this place, and then you know what I'm saying.
So I now more so than ever, I have been bombarded with the questions, because I also own my own open mic called Poetic Vibes Open Mic. We were going very strong, and then boom, the zombie apocalypse happened, and then that kind of threw a monkey wrench in everything. But we are on hiatus. We will be back. Not gonna give a date, because then that date will pass, and then y'all will be like, "Where you had said." Because the beautiful thing with Poetic Vibes, my intention with it was to create a safe space for artists and creatives to be able to come and grow and go. So as much as a platform as it is, that platform is a springing board. So it's not meant for anybody to come and stay, if that makes sense.
Right.
And thankfully, like, some of y'all's current favorite poets were groomed at Poetic Vibes. Yeah. So as much as it is a creative experience in a safe space, it's also a business model. Yeah. And that showed me that business model works. But what the pandemic showed me was that as much as I have been doing for others, it's now time to do for myself. Yeah. Which ties back to I don't want to do. So for right now, we are on a hiatus. We will be back soon. But yeah, those are the two main, I guess, hosting situations that I have going on. And I do, like you said, I get hit up randomly. Yes, and it goes to one of the haiku that's in my book. When your name is in rooms that your feet have never stepped foot inside of. Yeah. I love it. There's so many of those haikus that you have that are like that are that are just like one liners that make you think, and that make you believe, that inspire you, that motivate you, that encourage you, and I love that. So with hosting, right? There's we get new artists here in the DMV area all the time. I don't know another city, state that supports artists the way that the DMV does. And how big poetry is here, and how many opportunities you have to go to poetry events, to go to open mics, to get support, to build a following, all of these different things, right?
So as you're kind of, navigating through poetry, right? How do you, if you were to give a new artist coming to the DMV advice on, how they can build themselves up as a poet, what would some of your advice be to that artist?
Figure out what you want out of this, what you want from this, and what you are willing to compromise in order to maintain this. Because, contrary to popular belief, in everything in life, you will have to compromise. Whether it's your art, whether it's your time, whether it's your quality of talent, you will have to compromise. That would be the core of it. Figure out who you are and who you want to be, because those will not be the same two people.
I like that. I agree with you on that as well, because I think so Backpack Jeff and Jeff Young are two different people, right? Like that. Like this is like my cape, like my Superman cape. When I put this on, I become who I need to become in order to, be a successful speaker and poet, right? So I definitely agree with you on that, and I think artists need to spend as much time as you possibly can out in the community.
Yes.
That's one of the things that I've gotten away from. And the reason that I've gotten away from it, I've taken a hiatus in terms of so many things, was because building the internal and the back end stuff is so important, because I wanted to not only be able to do poetry or to be able to speak, but I wanted to have something to also be able to sell and be able to offer, right? Because that part is so huge. I love that artists are in love with the art of what they do, but you also got to be in love with the business part of what you do. What's the most challenging part for you as an artist, mixing the business and the art? Or even if it's not the most challenging part for you, what's something that you would say to someone who is, finding it a little bit difficult to mix the art with the business?
Maintaining a professional demeanor when potential clients and booking agents have you effed up.
Okay, what does that mean? Elaborate. Go deeper. Go in your bag.
Well, I mean, it's because, like you said, the creativity part of it, that's the given.
Right.
The business acumen, to be able to respectfully turn down offers, or to respectfully inform people that you got me effed up, in terms of like trying to take advantage of your gifts and talents, because there will be so many people out there to do that, especially if they have a set budget in mind for the event, and you will find that, writing a $20,000 check for the lighting is fine, but paying the artist what they're worth for their words, that's often last on the list.
Yeah.
But also maintaining enough discernment to know, is this ultimately worth my yes?
How do you decide if it's ultimately worth your yes? Because, a lot of people will try to pay you as an artist in exposure. Oh, I can get you on stage in front of...
Right. But here's the thing with the exposure. Is the exposure really worth it if you're only getting exposed to more wolves? Who are they themselves going to take advantage of you, just like how you just got taken advantage of for this gig? Because what does it benefit me,
right,
to be opened up to a room full of, what I'm saying, vipers? And it's like, the best way to combat that is to, one, do your research, you know, because oftentimes, and this is a business tactic, you will be approached as if your answer is detrimental. And oftentimes, again, that's a business tactic to get you locked in to this rate that's beneath what you should be accepting. It's okay to take a beat, research the person that's approaching you, the event that you're trying to, that you are being booked for, the organization that's throwing on. Research all of these things.
Right.
And then network and ask questions. Mm-hmm. Who did this event before I did? Or who else was approached before I was? Why did they say no? And the reasons why they said no may be the reasons why you say yes. Mm-hmm. And again, there may be, this all boils down to you sharpening your discernment.
Okay.
Because there have been instances where I was booked for something knowing full well that I was being lowballed. And having you got me effed up, foaming in the back of my throat. But letting patience work her perfect works, looking at the bigger picture and getting a hold of the guest list, VIP wise, it might actually be beneficial for me to take this cut in order to be able to cut the line in terms of access to one or two people that are going to be there.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I like that. 100,000%. I definitely like the mindset of being able to cut that line and gain access to people that otherwise we would not have had access to. So you don't have a flat rate right now. Like if someone were to come to you and say, "Hey, I wanted to book you for this," you don't have a flat rate.
At first I didn't. Now I do.
Okay, really?
I have.
No matter who's booking you.
Was going to go into that. I have two sets of flat rates.
Okay.
I have the corporate level flat rate because I'm not about to charge Sister Johnson the same fee that I'm going to charge Johnson & Johnson. Because at the end of the day, Johnson & Johnson is going to try to market off of my talent and chop that up and sound bites and things of that nature. Yeah, you got to pay for that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's a little bit different from, writing a piece for the Pastor's Aid Auxiliary. You know what I'm saying? That more than likely is never going to be used again.
Yeah.
That's a little bit different from getting commissioned to write a haiku that could potentially be used for marketing. So I have two separate rates. Yeah. The corporate rate and then the personal rate. The personal rate.
Okay. So with that, right? So one of the things that that poets love to learn about is, and I'm going to say it that way. One of the things that poets love to learn about is just how to make money doing this, right? Like what? Because I mean, a lot of poets just don't know, right? How to make money. Like how can I want to be a full-time poet? Okay, you want to be a full-time poet. What does that look like, right?
Yeah.
Help them learn how to make money doing what it is that they love.
So in addition to or within the realm of me being a full-time creative, I'm also an actor. And I approach that the same way that I approach, auditions for whether it's main roles or featured background. I don't go in foolhardy expecting that I'm going to book every gig that I submit for. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That I'm going to actually be able to accept every assignment that's given to me. And certainly not that I am going to get rich quick from this one engagement.
Right.
And so with that being said, you really want to do a checks and balances and an inventory on your quality versus quantity.
Okay.
Making sure you're not stretching yourself too thin, because who cares about your words if you can't barely deliver them because you're so busy chasing the gig behind the money.
Okay.
The money should not be, well, let me pause, because what I'm going to not ever do is tell you what you should be doing. I will always say what I have done and what has been beneficial for me.
Right.
And for me, it's not to depend on my mortgage getting paid behind this particular gig, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah.
You know, always have a contingency, always have, you know, multiple irons in the fire or multiple streams of income. Now, if you want to make this poetry one of your main streams of income, you need to understand that may involve you humbling yourself creatively, because your love, I don't need a man, I don't need a woman material may not be what's being asked of you.
Right.
And then figure out, are you able to conform or compromise?
There it is again.
There it is again.
Yep.
Because, I mean, as fiery as your I bust the windows out his car themed sets are, maybe they want to hear some inspirational pieces. Can you write inspirational pieces? How flexible are you artistically? Because majority of the gigs that I get booked for, them people don't want to hear haiku. You know what I'm saying? Respectfully, right. They don't want to hear haiku.
Right.
They want a prose piece.
So as a poet, right? Like even as a poet, you want to have. Let's say I'm a poet and I want to do multiple streams of income, right? Like where can I go in order to I want to do this full time? How can I make money off it? So yes, for sure, focus on the writing. Yes, for sure, focus on the performance piece, because not only do you have to be a great writer, you also have to be an equally great performer, right? You can't be a great performer and your writing is terrible, and vice versa. So what are some of the ways? Like, so even to get a corporate gig, you know what I mean? Like, what do I have to do in order to get, let's say a corporate gig?
Well, the great Dr. Maya Angelou once said, when you learn, teach. And I like to put on top of that, when you teach, make sure what you're teaching is so good that they want to pay you for that knowledge. Because, ultimately at the end of the day, majority of the people remember from Dr. Maya Angelou is Still I Rise. You know what I'm saying? But I promise y'all, she didn't just go around the country talking about Still I Rise.
Yeah, she definitely did it. She had way more.
She had way more than that. She learned and she taught and lectured and became guest speaker at events based upon her experience in life and what she had to teach you. Don't be afraid to teach people and charge them for your knowledge.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, everybody knows everybody, but nobody knows you. And it is your responsibility to change that. How can you change that? By teaching the men how to fish.
Okay. So do you teach people? Do you teach poets?
I do.
Okay. You have a program? You have something that they can enroll in? Tell me about it.
So, yes, again, against my own wherewithal. It's very much... Very much. I teach a course on presentation and human interaction. Okay. Because the disconnect is the biggest thing that keeps you from getting booked. Not being able to read the room, not being able to understand your audience, and not being able to pivot. And so I teach artists and creatives how to effectively reach your audience while maintaining a healthy relationship with whoever booked you so that they feel comfortable enough recommending you to other people. Okay. That happens on the stage and before you get to the stage. Okay. I teach how to structure that email because the same way you send a professional email is not the same way you send a professional text message. Right. if that makes sense.
That makes perfect sense.
The
particularly who you're sending it to.
Particularly who you are sending it to. And that's where so many miss the mark of actually solidifying the booking. Mm-hmm. You have said or done something to turn the person off.
Okay.
Or to make the person believe you may not be a good fit for that.
Okay. So if you could give us one strategy to connect with the audience when you're on, so let's say you're on stage, how do I connect? Because I see a lot of younger poets, and one of the things that they're learning how to do effectively, I think they're learning it effectively. One particularly that I'm thinking of in terms of being able to connect with the audience. What's one simple strategy that you can give us to connect with the audience?
Humility.
Okay.
And humanity. Don't just get up there and become a robot, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Don't ever allow your poetry to become, what's the word I'm looking for? Robotic. Like, mm-hmm. Maintain a connection.
Okay.
Like, if that goes down to your cadence,
right,
the fluctuations of your tone, connect with the people. Eye contact. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? For me personally, it's in my performance contracts that the house lights have to be blinding. I don't want to see the person.
Really?
Yes. Because me being the empath, mm-hmm. it'll become a whole other thing.
Okay.
But I don't have to physically see you to feel you.
Right.
And so while I'm up there blinded, mm-hmm. it feels as though damn, he talking to me. I'm sorry, I don't know if we can cut. He talking to me.
That one is good.
Right. Okay. Right. I'm surprised I made it that long. Woo. Okay. Oh, but again, going back to knowing your audience, being conscious, because I'm a sailor. Like, yeah. But again, understanding how people are going to receive you, right, wrong, or indifferent. Mm-hmm. Because from a principle standpoint, you may be right, but how you went about your right came out of left field. Mm-hmm. And so do you want to be right or do you want to be in relationship? And that all goes back to your initial interaction with these people.
It's going to go back. It's going to go back to the initial. It's going to go back to the initial interaction. So with that being said, right, we talked about knowing your audience, reading the room. So a long time ago on Facebook, I made this comment about censoring, yourself
mm-hmm.
for particular events. And some artists felt like they shouldn't have to censor themselves mm-hmm. for particular events. And if I got to censor myself for particular events, then I just don't want that event. But my argument was, if this event is going to pay you $10,000, you mean to tell me you're not going to censor yourself mm-hmm. for that 5-7 minutes and for $10,000? No, I'm gonna stand on my
right, which goes back to the compromise.
So have you censored yourself?
Absolutely.
For events? Yes. Okay.
Absolutely. For me personally, I don't cuss around kids. Like that's
sure.
It's a haiku in the book. I am absolutely the friend who put me on. You should never put me on speakerphone. Just as a general rule of thumb, because anything will come out of here. But consciously, I hate to see parents do it. I hate to see them cuss at kids. It's just a trigger for me. I won't do that. Mm-hmm. And there have been times where I have gotten up with a specific piece in mind. Maybe it has one too many F-bombs in it, or and I'll either cut it short or edit it, because at the end of the day, let's be honest, people's retention, they're not going to really know what you did with your poem. You know what I'm saying? I'll either edit it that way, or I'll just omit it and pivot and go with a whole different piece. Mm-hmm. That's the main area where I've ever had to edit my content.
Yeah, I definitely. So I agree with you. I think it's important to know your audience. It's mm-hmm. important to censor yourself if and when appropriate. You should definitely have pieces that you can take to the barbershop, the elementary school, middle school, the hair salon, church, the corporate event, the company event, you know what I'm saying, the raised barbecue. You know what I mean? You want to be able to be versatile enough to be able to go multiple different places. Have you done anything like in terms of like schools, contracts, like have you like taught any creative writing or anything like that? And how did that process go for you?
So I shouts out to Dr. Shalisha Thompson. She is an incredible entrepreneur and business strategist. She's blood sisters with my other sister, an amazing singer, Selena Johnson. And she teaches these courses on how to properly pitch yourself as a brand. And so with that being said, you got to know how to tailor these inquiry letters to these organizations that you want to go into, to these schools that you want to go into. Even within your business model of what you are teaching or doing a workshop on, have variations of that. Because the same way that you teach it for this corporate level may not be the same way you go into an elementary school.
It should not be the same.
It should not be. It really again, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but for me,
you should not be teaching this. They can't even comprehend it the same way that the adults do.
That part. And so what I do is once I get that word of mouth referral, which is majority of how all of my bookings have gone over the years. I then sit back, read the email. Okay, how can I cater this or tailor this even more so that the experience is so personal that it feels like I wrote this specifically for this school or for this company. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
So you also won DMV Renaissance Awards. Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
How was that experience? Were you surprised by it?
Yeah, because it was like, oh wow, another book actually should probably come by now. You actually should.
You've
put
won
another
twice,
book.
right?
Yes,
the year before and this year. Okay.
Yeah. Because after I had put out, after I won for the book the first year, it was, I put out like a series of like essays, melanated manifestos, I called them, and it was the feedback was yeah, this is great. Where is the book? Type situation, and it was just like, okay, I'm working on it. Now I'm finished it, and now it's just a matter of finding the right window to release it. But that experience again was affirming. Because, you know, going back to being a little boy with this learning disability, you know what I'm saying? Very much so shy as to whether people would actually care what I have to say. Because, side note, that's what got me into theater and acting. I used that as a security blanket to be someone else. Right. Because I never thought that being myself was good enough for people.
Wow.
And so if I could be this character, you know,
then people will remember me as the character as opposed to remembering me as me. So no, I definitely understand that. So we're approaching the end of the year, right? Tell me something this year that surprised you.
Ooh, that's a good question. Something that really surprised me this year was the reality. Because, you know, we say cliche things all the time, but to actually experience the reality of if you make it make sense to them, they will make a way for you.
Okay.
And so many times this year, I literally talked myself into so many blessings, and then it became, oh, now you got to deliver. Yeah.
and that right there is what so many people have a difficult time doing, is that, and that's one of the things that stops people from even offering or selling themselves to other people, is that you can sell yourself all you want, but at the end of the day you have to deliver. Now you sold that you can do this poem and that you can write this. Can we see the poem? Can we get it memorized? Can we perform it? Can we go through a perfect performance while on stage here? So I mean that's that. I had one of my clients. He told me, he was like, yeah, man, the reason why I wasn't really sending out the emails and stuff like that was because, he said, what if it works and I actually get booked? Yeah. And now I got all of these booking engagements and I'm not ready for them. And I'm like, it's going to work.
It's gonna work,
and you're going to, and I go back to his message all the time. He's like, yo, man, like, yo, this joint actually works, bro. And I'm like, I told you that it would work. It works if you do it. And it's funny because people who tell me that they are doing it, I know you're not doing it because it's not working for you. I don't understand how it's working for me. It's worked for other people who I've coached to do the same exact thing. I'm not telling y'all to do anything different than what it is that I'm doing.
Right.
I'm doing it successfully every single day. So I don't see why it's not working for you. The only reason that I could come up with why it wouldn't work is because you're not doing it. It's because you're not doing it. And I purposely do this. For people who tell me, oh, they live in different cities, different states. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get booked in your state to show you
it works.
It works.
It works.
And it's very easy. And it only takes me about 10 or 15 emails and I get booked in their state. And then you know what I do? Here's what I do. I call I send the person back and say, you know what? I'm so sorry. I apologize. I can't take this booking because someone else actually already booked this date. But I have someone that can come in and step into my place. I think they would be a great replacement. And then I'll send that person just to show you that, come on, yo.
I can't tell you how many times I've had people ask me about the whole touring thing. I've done 4 tours. Poetry. My own. That I headlined, that I created. I've done 4.
How did you do it?
I'm about to tell you.
Okay.
Same thing I told these people. And you think any of them, it's so simple. Shout out to Roscoe Burnhams, who was the first poet laureate of Richmond, Virginia. Right? Yeah. For me, I had to surround myself with laureates because message. Because this was like maybe year 2 of Poetic Vibes. I was trying to get him, but he was always on tour, like always booked and like out of the state. And when we finally got him that year, I pulled him aside and I asked, was like, bro, like this is like your umpteenth tour. Like what are you doing? Do you have like a sponsor? He's like, no, I don't have no sponsors. Nah. Anybody write the check for this? This is sheer wherewithal and cold calling and reaching out to venues, organizations, open mics, and making deals. Literally. That's it. Block out some time on your calendar where you have a weekend, maybe 2, to dedicate to this. Yeah. Hit up these venues. Hey, I have a tour that I'm on. I need to fill these dates. What can we work out in terms of the door versus ticket sales or my book sales or my merch sales? Message merch. Y'all need merch. Once you get 3, that's a tour.
That's it.
And it literally snowballs after that because now you have what's called metrics and analytics. And you can take to the next person that you're trying to get booked by and say, hey, this is what this is how many people that I get through the door over here. And then that gives you what's called leverage to get paid on top of. Right. Follow what I'm saying? Because if I can bring 50 to 75 people through your door myself, majority of which whom probably wouldn't have come to your establishment. Right. Now we need to start talking percentages.
I love it. Hey, listen, man, free game. That's definitely an in my bag moment right there. So tell me where long term big picture, right? What does Harvey want?
Harvey wants his legacy to be cemented throughout time that he loved everybody, and his motto in life was love and let live.
Okay.
Specifically, love and let live. Not live and let love, but love and let live. And then you can live and let love.
Okay.
Because once you are able to actually live for yourself, all of the other love and good things, it comes.
Right.
Like I don't ever want my legacy to be stuff. You know? I don't want my legacy to be my kids. I want my legacy to be the love that I have for everybody on this planet.
Okay.
Because if I have kids and they all come out crazy, then I can't bet my legacy on that.
Right.
My legacy has to be that I loved everybody and I taught you how to love. And I taught you how to be a better person.
Your legacy is going to be how you lived your life and how you loved.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that. So where can the people follow you? They've seen it, throughout here, but for the people who are going to be listening to the audio, how can they keep up with you? How can they catch you? How can they sign up to be in the coaching program so that they can learn more about you?
So you can follow me on social media at the Sir Harvey Fitz. You can go to my website, www.sirharveyfitz.com, and you will find all things Harvey, where I'm going to be. My blog posts are on there. My merch is on there. My T-shirts on there. This amazing shirt that I'm.
DC like a go-go.
Yes,
hey, that's fire.
Thank you. And actually, that stemmed from this year. I entered the competition, the Art to Go-Go's Spoken Word to Go-Go Championship.
Oh yeah,
and I won.
Ooh.
And part of the grand prize was I got to record my Spoken Word to Go-Go piece with the Experience Band and Show. And yes, Travis, the trombonist of that group, he came up with this to add to the piece as like a hook, and it's available now wherever you want to go and wherever you listen to your music. It's called Ode to DC. And I brought one for you too.
Okay, all right. Hey, yo, that's fire. Look, he's going in his bag.
I'm going in my bag to get you a bag because I have a backpack for you. But then look inside the backpack.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem. Okay. I can dig it. This one's gonna have to go on the wall, yo.
Absolutely.
What I do.
Absolutely.
I put these on the wall so that they can, let me sit that right there, and bam. Ooh. Yep. And it's the
because I know you be like
you know what I'm saying? I my workout.
Because you like to get up at like 3 a.m. and be at the gym when I be up under the bed. Good luck with that.
You know what I'm saying? Don't come to the podcast if you ain't got no gift.
No, for real, because who raised y'all? Like, why do you come empty-handed to places? That's crazy. That is crazy.
Can't be coming to people's houses without offering to bring something. I don't even care if they don't ask you to bring nothing. You should offer.
Always.
Don't be ghetto. Don't be ghetto. This is wild to me. Your parents raised you better than that. Big Mama taught you better than that. You know she did.
I don't care if it's a store-bought pie. Don't show up to nobody's nothing empty-handed.
Get some styrofoam cups, yo.
Like, no, for real.
You know what I'm saying?
Like,
you can play beer pong with those. All right, y'all, man. This has been another amazing episode of In My Bag with Backpack Jeff, man. Y'all know the motto here. 2 of them. Number 1 is winners write history, losers become a part of the story. Please do not let anyone write you into their story, because I guarantee you they will not write the ending of your life the way that you would have it written. And then finally, always stay in your bag so you never got to chase a bag. Don't chase the money, chase purpose. Once you chase purpose, money will start to chase you as well. Appreciate y'all. Till next time.
Bye.